Now the question is, why do we think negative? Why do out of 5 thoughts, 4 thoughts are negative, 80% is negative? Why do you think we have so much inclination to think about negative thinking, inclination towards negative thinking? You can use the chat box or you can unmute and tell me as well.
What I feel is, I think it's more like one becomes negative is because he or she has, gone through it once, and then they maybe start assuming कि पहले भी ऐसा हुआ है, वापस ऐसा हो सकता है. And then we go into the negative thought instead of going to the positive aspect maybe.
Great, wonderful. Thank you very much. So you're right there, because negative things have happened in the past. So we continue to believe that the same things will happen with us again, will occur again. Right. Any other thoughts? I would try to read the chat box till that time.
Sir, even
Yeah.
even one's upbringing, childhood upbringing and all, if he remembers, those experiences, what he had earlier, that is getting into his subconscious mind. So when he's thinking through conscious mind, so again there is a conflict is going on. So that is how he can get into negative.
Right. So one strong influence factor could be environment. It could be from our parents as a child, because parents continue to think negative, continue to feed negative to the child. Now, why the parents are feeding negative to the child? Because they are actually trying to protect their children by feeding that negative, right? So if they are telling their children, don't talk to strangers, you see, don't take anything from the strangers, even if it's a chocolate which you really like, because their intentions may be bad. They may kidnap you, they may forcefully take you away, and they may misuse you, they may ill treat you, they will make your life miserable. So please don't don't take anything from our strangers. So my daughter is listening and she is smiling at me, because that's what we also tell her. So now this is what we are doing actually to protect our child. But in the process, what we are doing is we are creating a negativity around the child, that the world is not really a great place to live. It is full of negativity, right? So that environment makes a huge difference. You are right there. Okay, what else? So do you think that only by parents and the environment that people think 4 times negative, or by their experience? Talking and working towards positive things, it will attract. Okay, so that is a beautiful Mugilan said. If I'm sorry if I have pronounced your name wrong. So talking, not only talking, it is also working towards positive things, and you can attract them. You will get what you think and believe. So one beautiful quote by Gautam Buddha: mind is everything, what you think you become. Mind is everything, what you think and become. Most of the time we cling to live in past. That's true, Neha. Thank you very much. Survival instincts, Deepali says, beautiful. It is easy to think negative. Yeah, sure. We are preparing ourselves for the worst. That's the positive side, definitely. When we think negative, we are actually preparing ourselves for the worst. Yes, Sergi, by experience also. Yeah. Okay. So great. Thank you very much for all those beautiful inputs. We think negative. One major reason is because negative thinking has been responsible for our survival. So since our ancestors, who were our cavemen were our ancestors. So when they were living in caves, in jungles, human beings were probably the weakest animal that survived on the earth. So human beings, if you look at any living being on earth. God or nature has gifted them some kind of mechanism to protect them. Snail will have a shell. Tortoise also has a shell. Rabbit can run really fast. Snake can bite. Also crawl very fast. Bull will have strength to protect itself. Elephant has size. Lion has strength. Deer has legs that can make it run faster. So if you look at all the species, most of the species which are living on earth, they would be having something or the other to protect themselves. But humans, so what did humans do to survive? First thing is they started living in the groups. Living in the groups actually helped them to survive through those tough times. That is why humans are social animals. Even today, right? If we are cut off from the world, like last uh, wave, first wave and the second wave of COVID, a complete lockdown, people were not able to go out, especially during the first lockdown. And many of them started suffering from anxiety and depression because they were feeling so uh, so kind of disconnected from the world. They were not even able to go out. So just by going out and walking on the streets can make you feel better. Being in open can make you feel better. So negative thinking was responsible for our survival. Now, how negative thinking can make us survive in this hostile, extremely hostile environment when we were living in jungles? So, like you rightly said, that negative thinking actually is protecting us. It is preparing us for the worst. So, every step we take, we are extremely careful because we know that if we step on the danger, it will cost our lives. If you look at animals, for example, many of us have pets. They have dogs, they have cats. If you observe them, very rarely they would sleep completely. Otherwise, most of the time they are kind of alert. Even while they have closed their eyes, their bodies are alert. Very rarely, if they feel really comfortable, they feel there is no possibility of any danger, then only they will like go completely relaxed. Otherwise, they are always alert, instinctively alert for any kind of danger, because that negative thinking makes us cautious, careful. We follow, we are safe. We try to be safe all the time, and that negative thinking is responsible for our survival. What happens in the modern world? If you look at our new world, humans are not hunters anymore. Like we are not living in any jungles anymore. We are comparatively really living in a safe environment. However, now if you look at our brains, the way our brain works has not changed in comparison to the environment in which we are living. So our environment has changed really drastically compared to the changes which have happened in our brain and the way it works. That is why we still continue to think negative. In other words, you can say that because negative thinking was responsible for our survival when we were living in the hostile environment, we continue to think negative even today. Now, when we start thinking negative, right, like you rightly said, we have this ability to self-reflect whether what we did right, what we did wrong, and so on. So after every action, we have this ability to self-reflect. Now, most of the time when we reflect, we self-reflect, it is about our abilities and our potentials. So when we reflect or self-reflect, we start thinking about where did I go wrong, right? And in that process of self-reflection, we start building disempowering beliefs. So we start limiting ourselves. So if I try to do something and I fail, what I would see, I would tell myself, probably I need to work a little harder. Okay, if I'm really thinking positive, again I try and I fail, I may probably think again that okay, I need to really work harder. I try again and I fail. Then I start believing, okay, probably I'm not going in the right way. Probably this is not for me. I shouldn't be here. I should be doing something else. And I would start forming limiting beliefs for ourselves. If you follow cricket, you must have heard about a cricketer, a Sri Lankan cricketer, opener, very famous. His name is Marvin Atapattu. So he got a break against India in the test matches. If I remember, it was with India. Probably 3 or 4 innings he played. He scored 0 and 1. He was dropped. Again, after 2 years, he was brought back. Again, he failed in 2 or 3 innings. Again, he was dropped. And then he came back and he became one of the most prolific Sri Lankan batsmen. He was even captain for the country. So, working continuously hard towards your goal after failures becomes really, really difficult because we have this ability to self-reflect and form these limiting beliefs. So, first thing is that, so first part is that we are born to think negative. Our instinctively, like you rightly said, our survival instincts make us continuously think negative. Point one. Point two, we have this we have this ability to self-reflect. This ability to self-reflect can also be a major reason for our negative thinking. We start limiting ourselves. We start giving away ourselves to fears. Right. The third one is, now we look at the environment today. Today, the environment is such that because of this materialism or capitalism, the more we have, the less we feel. The more we do, the less we feel. Stress is the highest today. Today, we are demanded to do so many things. Literally impossible for a person to kind of manage so many things in a day. So that stress is always there. Stress to earn more money. I was watching one interview of Amitabh Bachchan. So the anchor was talking about his father's life and his life. So his father was also a very well-known poet, very famous.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But but he was not financially, he was not that rich.
Nice to talk to you, sir.
Yeah, my request to everyone is please remember to keep yourself on mute, right? So request you to keep yourself on mute. Okay. So if you have in that interview, the anchor was talking about the kind of life his father had and he is having. So he said, how do you manage? How do you deal with your life? You have seen your fathers who was living a modest life, and here you are kind of really, really well off, right? With so much of money and wealth to manage. So he said one thing very interesting. He said it's a fallacy that a person can have more money, right? Even today, I feel I am not having enough. I need more. So that one sentence really describes the world we are living in today. If you have a car, you want a bigger car, a car with more features, bigger, which reflects a higher status symbol. You get that one, then you want a bigger one. So there is what he did. He made a car specially for himself. He got a car made for himself with gold plated, right? So now, how does gold plating on a car going to increase its performance, right? But he's having that car with gold. So money, when we were children, when we were teenagers, it was like having a bike at that time was a great deal. Forget about car. You wouldn't see so many cars on the street. Even you won't see so many bikes on the street. In the colony which we lived, there were 15 buildings. Every building had 3 plus 1, so 4 floors, ground plus 3. Only one person had a scooter. Nobody else had any kind of his own transport. The only one guy had a scooter. Nobody even had a car. So, what will people do by earning more money? करना क्या है उसका? Television came after that, and then it was like we started going to other people's house, neighbors' house to watch television, and then ultimately today everyone is having a television. Without a television, you cannot imagine a life. I'm sorry, I will just have a look at the chat box. Mind is tuned to run and escape. Hence that. So why is mind tuned to run and escape? Why not to fight? Because the human beings know they are weaker species, very difficult to fight. Even if you have a wild pig in front of you, for a human being, it is very difficult to fight with him also, with it also. Okay, so it is naturally going to flight. It is going to run away. So it is going to think negative most of the time. It is going to think, man is going to think that, okay, I'm going to lose all the time, most of the time. Chances of my winning are very less, so better I run away. So that's what we do today also. Most of the time, this negative, remember, we have designed to think negative because that helped us, or we have practiced negative thinking in the other words, because that helped us survive. And plus we have this ability to self-reflect and create negative self-belief, negative image of ourselves, underestimating our potential. So that is the second part. And the third part is the world in which we are living. So whether it is in our DNA or whether we have practiced it or learned to think negative, doesn't make a difference much. The thing is that it has got ingrained in ourselves so deeply that very difficult for us to think positive. The second thing is that now this stress is already high. Then we have this COVID, which has increased the volatility of the world. Then, because human minds are trained to think more negative, these things are. This is something which is really psychology is understood by people who design advertisements, right? So when they design these advertisements and throw these advertisements, they are shown on television or while you watch movies. These advertisements are made to make you feel somewhere less without their product or without using their services. So what happens? You feel that if I don't have this brand pen, or if I'm not wearing this brand shirt, or if I'm not having this brand car, then I am somewhere low in the society. And even if it is not required, he may still buy it. One best example is Coke, Pepsi, this aerated drinks. Now, how does this aerated drinks benefit us? How did this benefit us? So the obvious answer is no, they don't benefit us. But still, people used to drink. People even drink today. It is considered as a status symbol kind of a thing. So you will go order lunch and then you will also order cold drink and then you will have it. Social media, again, social media is you would see the research on Facebook how negative a post or post with negative emotions or negative influences are kind of promoted so that people stay more on Facebook and they study the algorithm, what a person prefers, right, watches frequently. Based on that, most of those things will notifications will start coming to him. Today, the value system has deteriorated, right? It has been broken down. value system, right? Relationships are breaking down. 30, 40 years before, I used to be a part of a joint family. Today we are four: me, my wife, my son, and my daughter. When we were living in joint families, a child would feel there will be no dearth of love, care, and affection for him. There will be somebody or the other always to talk to him, talk with him, take care of him. Relationships have broken down. Societies today, we don't even know our neighbors. All this has further increased the negativity in our lives. So when we talk about law of attraction, what it basically means is, when we talk about positive and negative, there are two sides of the same coin. So my one favorite example is, for example, in an unfortunate accident, a person loses his leg. What happens? So what is the negative thought process in that? So then, what do you think would be the negative thought process in that? A man in an unfortunate accident loses his leg. Now, what is the negative thinking pattern in this situation?
Losing of the leg.
Handicap.
So now he has become handicapped. Thank you very much. What else?
Losing a leg is the negative impact there.
So the impact of losing a leg. So now,
Self-confidence. We will be
so
losing
there is some sound
self-confidence.
in the background. I don't know who's. Yeah, thank you very much.
He will be losing self-confidence that he is not normal.
No, he
not
is now.
good.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Yeah, so he will lose his self-confidence. Now he's not normal. He will be looked at differently. He would be looked at differently. What else? What else could happen? So okay. So now I have lost my leg now. How will my family look at me? Thank you very much. Dependency. Now I'm going to be dependent on them. Now how they are going to take care of? How am I going to take care of my family now? The job which I was holding, the company where I was working, will they continue to allow me to work there? How will my colleagues look at me right now? What kind of a life I'm going to lead now? It's like really miserable for me. It will be a really miserable life for me. I will be dependent on others for so many things. I will not be able to run in my life anymore, and so on. So all these negative thoughts will come to his mind. Now look at the other way. What is the positive in this whole incident? Insecurity for self and others, his family, yeah. Not having good voice quality, not good oratory and communication skills, which are important. I didn't get that. Pankaj. He will be careful he doesn't break his another leg. Yeah. Learning to live with a one leg. So learning to live with one leg is naturally adapting. What would be the positive thought process in the whole incident?
The positive thought process probably would be that he didn't lose both his legs. He has one of it at least.
Right. So thank you very much. So one way of looking at this situation is, okay, so I didn't lose both the legs. Right. I can come back and thank God that I survived this accident. I'm still breathing. I'm still alive. I'm still living with my family. Worse could have happened. I'm alive. I'm kicking. I'm breathing. At least I'm kicking with one leg. I can ask myself, now what is the next I can do? I'm still I can be still independent. What can I do in this new situation? So this new situation has come up where I have lost a leg in this unfortunate accident. I am a careful driver. I obeyed rules, but that was about me. I cannot control others' behavior. If others break the rules and I meet an accident, there is nothing wrong. There is nothing I can do. There is nothing wrong about me. What can I do now? to do better, to make our lives better. There was a video which was very viral. You must have, I don't know how many of you have seen it. I will share it in the group. So a man who is born without 2 legs, he runs on his hands and is the fastest runner now. He can beat a person who can run on legs, on both the legs. Okay. So you must go and watch that video. I am sorry, I don't remember the name, but I will definitely share it in our groups. So you should watch that video. Really, so that tells you what is the difference between negative and positive. So negative and positive are two sides of the same coin. In every situation, you can think the negative and you can also think positive. So you can think the negative. Okay, I lost my leg. Now what am I going to do? Now I'm dependent on others. Now I'm handicapped. So differently abled. How will I travel by trains now? Look at me. How will people look at me now? On the other side, he can thank God. Thank you, I'm still survived. I still survived. That was such a massive accident, dangerous one. I came, I survived. I lost only 1 leg. But I still have other abilities, like you rightly said, probably that's how you connected it. I still have communication skills, power of words, and so on. So I can still continue. I can still continue to be a trainer, right? Or in my profession. Or if I can't continue in the profession, then what else can I do? So that is what law of attraction talks about. Being positive in the situations. Looking at the situations from positive perspective, from looking at the situations from positive instead of negative.